Hi team, Nick Muldoon, co-founder, co-CEO at Easy Agile, and I'm joined today by Maysa Safadi, who's an engineering manager here at Easy Agile. We'll get into Maysa's story and journey in just a little bit, but before we do, I just wanted to say a quick acknowledgement to the traditional custodians of the land from which we are recording and indeed broadcasting today, and they are the people of the Dharawal speaking country just south of Sydney in Australia. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and extend that same respect to all Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander and First Nations people that are joining us and listening in today. Maysa, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you for inviting me.
So Maysa's on today. We're going to explore Maysa's journey on her career to this point. And I think one of the things that interests me in Maysa's journey is she's come from a fairly patriarchal society in the Middle East and has overcome a lot of odds that some of her peers didn't overcome, and she's managed to come to Australia, start a family in Australia, has 3 beautiful children, and is an engineering manager after spending some years as a software engineer. So Maysa, I'd love to learn a little bit about the early stages of your life and how you got into university.
I was born and raised in United Arab Emirates. I am one of 9. I have 3 brothers and 5 sisters. I'm the middle child, actually. Dad and mom, they were very focused on really raising good, healthy kids. And more important is to educate all of their kids, regardless if they are boys or girls. Started my education at schools there. When I graduated from high school, I ended up getting enrolled in a college, like what you call it here in Australia, TAFE. Education in United Arab Emirates, it's not free. Being one of 9, and having that aim and goal for my father to educate all of us, when it comes to education, it was 2 factors that plays big part of it. Is, can dad afford sending me to that college or university? And then after I finish, I will be able to find a job in that field. One of my dream jobs, I remember growing up, I wanted to be a civil engineer.
Okay.
And I remember my older brother, he is the second, was telling me, it's good that you want to study civil engineering. Remember, you will not be able to find a job.
Tell me why.
United Arab Emirates, it's male-dominated country. Civil engineering, it is a male-dominated industry. If you are going to look for a job after a graduation, it is pretty much given to males and Emirati males first. So kind of it needs to go very down in the queue before it gets to me. And to be realistic, sometimes you give up your dreams because you know that you are not going to have a chance later in life.
Oh my gosh, this is demoralizing.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
So the decision for me to get to engineering, it was, again, I couldn't really go to university because it was too expensive. My older sister, she had a friend who told her about this institute that they are teaching computers. When it came to mom and dad, they really told us, do whatever you want. Study whatever you want. It is you who is going to basically study that field, and you need to like it, and you need to make sure that you can make the most of it. So with that institute, it was reasonably okay for my dad to pay for my fees, and they were teaching computers. I thought, yeah, all right, computers, it is in science field. Right, I can't maybe study civil engineering, but I'm really very interested to know more about computers.
Similar, close enough.
Close enough. I ended up getting enrolled, and I remember the very first subject was fundamentals of computers or computer fundamentals, something like this. And I thought, yeah, all right, that is interesting. And I did really finish my education from there. After 2 years, I ended up getting a diploma in computer science.
And so, was this a unique situation for you, or were most of your girlfriends from high school also going on to college?
It's unique, actually, unique to my family. I'm not saying it's rare. You will find other families doing it, but it's not common. It is unique because, yes, most of the girls, if not all, they go to school. It's compulsory in United Arab Emirates, but very small number of them, they pursue higher education. Pretty much girls, they end up finishing school, and the very first chance to get married, they end up getting married and starting their own family. I remember
And you've
actually,
chosen a different path because,
oh yeah,
yes, you have a family today, obviously, but you established your career. You didn't finish school and get married.
I think I really give so much a credit to mom and dad in that sense. They told us education is more important than starting a family or getting married. They said finish your degree, finish your education, then get married. The other thing they said, do not even get married while you are studying because for sure you won't be able to finish it. Maybe because your husband wouldn't want you to finish it. Maybe you will become so busy with the kids and you will put it back. I remember actually so many times with my older sisters when it's traditional marriage there, when some people come and propose to marry or to propose for their hands, my dad always used to say, no, finish your education first.
And so this is interesting because, I think you'd had your eldest was born when you went and actually continued education and got your master's. Is that correct?
Yes. I got diploma in computer science. However, I always wanted a bachelor degree. I knew that there is more to it. I fell in love with computing, but I wanted more. And always I had that perception in mind, if I'm going to get a better opportunity, then I have to have a better certificate or education. So I thought getting a bachelor degree is going to give me better chances. I was working in United Arab Emirates and saving money, and Wollongong University had a branch there in Dubai. So I had my eyes on finishing my degree there. Eventually, I ended up enrolling at Wollongong University Dubai campus to get my bachelor degree in computer science.
But for folks listening along, Wollongong is the regional area of Australia where Maysa and I and many of our team live. So University of Wollongong is the local Wollongong University that has a branch in Dubai. So you were with University of Wollongong doing this bachelor degree, and how did you make the transition and move to Australia?
When I was studying at Wollongong University Dubai campus and was working at the same time to be able to pay the fees, I met my husband at work. And happened that he has a skilled migrant visa to come to Australia. Coincident. So I was thinking, all right, he is going to go to Australia. He is a person that I do really see spending the rest of my life with. So how about if I transfer my papers to Wollongong University here in Australia, finish my degree from here, while he gets the chance to live in the country, and then we can make our minds, is it a place for us to continue our life here? If not, it was a good experience. If good, that is a new experience and journey that we are going to take. So we end up coming to Australia. I finished my degree from here.
What did you find when you arrived at Australia? How is it different from United Arab Emirates? How is it different for women? How is it different for women in engineering, given what your brother had said about civil engineering in Dubai?
I had a culture shock when I came to Australia. Yes, I was in a country male-dominated country, third world country, no opportunities for females, to a country where everything is so different. The way of living, the communication, the culture, everything was so different. When it comes to engineering, because I didn't really finish my degree in United Arab Emirates, so I didn't even get the chance to work in engineering though. However, knowing about the country and knowing about the way they take talents in, I knew I had slim chances. Now, coming to Australia and to finish my degree at the university, it was challenging. Someone from the Middle East, English is second language, being in computer degree where looking around me, my God, where are the girls? I don't really see many of them around. And then, yeah, getting into that stereotype of industry or of a field where it is just only for males.
Yeah, so a bit of a culture shock coming across. And I guess, fast forward, you've spent a decade in software engineering and then progressing into engineering leadership. What was the change, and how did you perceive the change going from a team member to a people leader?
I graduated from Wollongong University and I ended up getting a job at Motorola as a graduate software engineer. In the whole team, there was 3 females. 2 of
How
them
big was the team?
How big is the team? It was around 20.
Okay.
And there was the network team, which had, I can't remember how many, but it was a different team. The team I was in, it is development team. And there was 3 girls in there. One of them, another graduate that ended up coming to the program, and one that started a year before. Interesting, these 2 females, they are not in IT anymore. I really loved the problem solving. I really loved seeing the outcome of my work in people's hands because I was developing features for mobile phones. So all was in mind then as an IC, how to become better at my work, how to learn more, how to prove myself to everyone that I'm capable as much as any other male in the team.
And do you think, Maysa, that that's something that you've had to do throughout your career to prove yourself?
Yes. It's a tough industry. Really not seeing so many females in it makes it hard because you look for role models that makes you think, oh, she made it, I can make it. If she's still in there, then I can learn from her. I missed all of that. I never had another mentor in my career or having even a female manager in all of the jobs I had before. So always I was dealing with males. Always I was trying to navigate my way to show them the different perspective I can bring. Even the subtle interactions I used to have with them, giving me that you are not capable enough, you are not there yet, this is our territory, why are you here? All of these things, it does really, without you think about it, it does really think your self-esteem and the self-worth when you are in industries like this. Yeah.
So I'm conscious, you're in this position now, you've kind of talked about you can't be what you can't see. If you can't see a woman that's a people leader and you're not reporting to one, then it's hard to see how you can become that. But here you have become that. And for our team here, you are one of the women leaders in the company, which is fantastic. What are the sorts of activities that you're undertaking to try and be present and be visible that you can be a woman people leader in the engineering field? I think it was earlier last month, perhaps, that you were at Women Hack in Sydney.
Women Hack, it is organization to bring diverse, talented women in tech together, to support them, to educate them, and not just only that, to try to connect them with other companies that they appreciate diversity and inclusion, and basically try to recruit Pretty much it is finding opportunities for women in tech in companies that they do value the diversity.
Okay, so I think it's interesting. I see these parallels here between your mum and dad that, kind of went out on a limb and extended themselves financially to get 6 girls through a college and university education in the Middle East. And, they were doing something that was perhaps fairly progressive at the time. You said it wasn't common. It sounds like Women Hack is bringing together more progressive companies these days that are creating opportunities for women to get into leadership or even to accelerate their careers.
Yes. It is so pleasing to see the change that has happened over the years. When I reflect back in 2000 when I graduated and ended up working in IT and all of the behaviors, there was no knowledge or there was no awareness how much diversity is important. And they were not even aware that really females, they are really quitting the field, or not that many females in roles in the first place in degrees like computing or engineering, even education through the school. No awareness was in there. And then you see now the progress that is happening. More awareness is during school. Universities, they are trying to make the degrees or the fields more inviting for females and diversity. They are trying to bridge the gap. So many companies, they are taking action to make it easier for females to be in the field and to progress in the field. So Women Hack, there are so many other groups like Women in Tech. There are so many companies that they are allies to females in tech as well, where they are trying to really support and make their voice heard by other companies is as well. All of the research and the science, they are really proving that having diversity in teams, it is going to be more beneficial for the companies, for the teams to have more engaging teams, having these differences. So yeah, there's a lot of awareness happening at the moment, and so many companies, they are trying to do something about it. I wish if that was early on. Now, it is good that
Earlier in
we
your
do.
career.
Earlier in my career, yes. So many times I felt so isolated. So many times I was sitting back and saying, is it worth the fight? Why do I have to work always twice as hard to just only prove that I'm capable? Why does it have to be this way? Why I'm not equal? And that's what actually made me change my career from IC to people leader. I didn't want to put other females. Being people leader wasn't just only for females. It was for me to voice, to be able to help pretty much people leader, to be able to help anyone in the field, regardless if they are males or females. More so is to lead by example, is to be a role model for others, is to show others that if I can make it, then definitely you can as well. Is to provide the support, it's to build the trust.
How can we, as an industry, I guess, how do we change? Like, I'm reflecting on Iran at the moment and the activities that have taken place over the last 60 days in particular, but really, just more media coverage for, hundreds of years of oppression of women. What do you hope, you being a people leader, a woman that's come from the Middle East, what do you hope for these young women and girls in Iran over their trajectory? If we're still making a journey here in Australia, in a male-dominated industry, what sort of hope do you have over the 20 years from here to 2040 for these women that are in the Middle East today and still haven't found a progressive society?
Politics. It's the game of power, really. Unfortunately, Obing is the awareness to get there for these females in locked countries to know that there are better opportunities for them. They need to be stronger. They need to support each other. They need to empower each other. As much as it is easy said, it's not that easy done.
No.
However, all of that frustration that is built in them, it is surfacing from time to time. I'm really hoping for Iranian women, it's not just only Iranians, I'm really hoping for every woman in the world, regardless if it is a third world country or even if it is advanced country like Australia, is to always feel that they are worthy, is always to feel that they can have a voice, they can be part of life, and they are doing meaningful things. Now, if they are raised in a way that always being told you are second, always being told your role only to get married and raise family, they will believe it themselves. So it needs to come from women like us, leading by example, being role models, sending the awareness. Really, media, we need to use the media very well so we can get to these people who they are really locked in their countries, not thinking that this is normal. It is a lot of work needs to
Well,
happen.
that's an interesting observation. You know, it is normalized for them, isn't it? Because so, look, reflecting on my own upbringing, I remember that my parents would always say, "You can achieve anything you put your mind to." But I could open up the newspaper, I could look on TV, and I could see a host of people that were, you know, people that looked like me, that is, white males that were Australian, that were successful in business. And so I believed that I could do and be whatever I wanted to do and be. And so I guess, like, how do we get this message out? Like, how do we tell your story more broadly to get this message out that you can do whatever you put your mind to. You can achieve whatever you hope to achieve. There's something interesting for me to reflect on about the media piece that you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think the countries that they are advanced, the countries that they are really recognizing women's more and more, they are more responsible in sending that awareness. They have to do more. It is basically, yeah, media, it is such an important thing. This is what people read every day or watch every day. It's,
And and I guess I'm conscious, like, you know, we're talking about, you know, half a world away in the Middle East, but you're actually involved in a community group here at home. What's that group that you're involved in, and how's that helping women?
yeah, I'm a board member for organization called Women Iliwara. It is run by women for women. Basically, this organization is to help women in domestic violence. It's basically to set them in the right path. It gives them services and it does educate them and even help them with the counseling, with legal support so they can get out of these situations and make them believe that they can be part of this society, that they are important voice in the society, in the community, and they can really contribute and make an impact. So by providing this education and this support, it is empowering these women to take matters their hand and again to really set the path for their own life and their own success. They need to take control back again and yeah, even help their kids see their moms that they are really doing the right thing.
It's this interesting thread that comes through in your entire life story and your journey, you know, that mum and dad wanted you to have an education so that you were empowered to chart your own course in life.
Yes.
And here you are today giving back to other women, trying to help them get an education and feel empowered so that they can chart their own course in life. I think that's fantastic. Thank you,
Thank
Maysa.
you. Thank you.
What is your hope for women over the next 10 years? Because it sounds like, you know, we're on a trajectory, we're making progress in some countries, we're not making as much progress in other countries. What's your hope for 2030? What does it look like?
My hope for 2030, or my hope for, I really hope it is even 5 years, less than 10 years. My hope for 10 years is not to have conversations about how to reduce the gap between males and females. Because by the 10 years' time, that should be the way everyone operates. My hope in 10 years' time is to have equal opportunities for anyone, regardless what's their gender, background, language they speak, physical abilities. It needs to be equal. It needs to equity. It is such an important thing. Giving exposure to the same opportunity, it is so important regardless what's your abilities. Stereotyping, I need that to get totally erased from the world. We are all human. We did not really choose where we born, who our parents are, what our upbringing, what our financial situation. It wasn't our choice. Why do we have to get penalized for it? We have responsibility toward the world to help everyone. We are social people. We really thrive when we have good connections and good bonds. We really need to tap into the things that makes us better. So we have so many talents that we can use it to the benefits of the world. I know countries always going to have fights and politics that everyone is looking for the power. That's not going to disappear. But us as people part of this world, we really need to try to uplift and upskill everyone around us. I really hope for the females in all of the other countries to know that they are worth it, to know that they are as good as anyone else. They have the power. They don't realize how much strength and power they have. So it comes from self-belief. Believe in yourself, and you will be surprised how much you will be able to achieve.
There you go. Believe in yourself and you'll be surprised with how much you are able to achieve. Maysa Safadi, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you, everyone.